Your Apple Watch will finally be able to do so much more in just a few months, thanks to the new watchOS 11 update that I've been using for more than a week now. And there are 12 big new features that I think you will absolutely love. Okay, so the first big new feature is a brand new Apple app called Vitals. Now, if you've used a traditional fitness tracker or something like a Whoop band, you're probably familiar with the concept of having this dashboard that gives you a bird's eye view of your overall health. So things such as your heart rate, sleep, and so on. Surprisingly, the Apple Watch never had anything like this before. Well, now it does, thanks to the new Vitals app that shows you everything in one place. This blue bar here is your average, and if anything goes under or over it, you'll receive a notification. And I think that's great. It's so much easier than going into the individual apps to see my heart rate or oxygen, or having to open up the health app on my iPhone in order to get a summary. My only complaint is that it is still very basic. If Apple were to add an overall health score, or at least give us a recovery score like Whoop does, combining all the metrics into one easy to understand number, I think that would be a much better approach. Still, I am glad to see Apple at least giving us this summary option. Also, do you guys see this website behind me? Well, that's actually our new wallpaper store page. Lots of you have been asking us to offer individually purchasable packs in wallpapers, so we've decided to experiment with this first on our website. And we've got a selection of 6 packs that rotates each week. This week we've got Sahara Summits, Dark Distortion, Vibrant Velvet, Wild Wonders, Dynamic Dunes, and Chromatic Coils. Simply go to wallpapersapp.com/store or click the link in the description to browse our stunning selection of AK wallpapers packs, and if this goes well, we'll bring this feature into our app as well. The next big update is automatic smart stacks, which I absolutely love. So you know how Apple added widgets last year, which you could access by scrolling down the crown? Well, you can still have whatever widgets you want, but you'll now also get smart widgets and live activities that appear above your chosen widgets. These are automatic and will change based on whatever you're doing that day. So, for example, if you've ordered an Uber, a live activity widget will now appear showing you exactly where your Uber is. The same goes for food deliveries. And then the weather widget would also show up when it's about to rain, plus your calendar will show up if you've got any important appointments coming up. You can customize these further in the settings and select which apps you want showing there or not. And I know what you're all thinking. This sounds a lot like the Siri watch face. And that's because it kind of is. In fact, Apple has now removed the Siri watch face entirely since its functionality is now built in. And speaking of watch faces, for the very first time in a watchOS update ever, we do not get any new watch faces at all, aside from an updated Photos face, which makes me think that Apple's saving it for the big Apple Watch X update. Now, when it comes to this new Photos face, you can still choose your own photos from the Apple Watch app on your iPhone and not the Apple Watch itself, which is definitely something that I'm not a fan of. But what's pretty cool here is that now it will automatically find great photos in your library and then suggest them as watch faces. For example, it managed to find this Hawaii photo in my library. It then separated the palm tree from the background and also gave me multiple options to pick from. Some where the clock sits behind the tree and some where the clock looks like it's coming out of the water. Really cool. And then you can also pick certain categories for the photos that you wanted to use, such as people, pets, nature, and cities, or even have a mix of all of these categories. On top of this, watchOS 11 can now automatically track naps, something that just wasn't possible before, and it can also automatically track your nighttime sleep without you having to specifically put your Apple Watch in sleep mode. And this is great for when you're traveling and you simply cannot follow your normal sleep schedule, or when you're tired and you decide to go to bed at an earlier time. Another update that I absolutely love is that now you can pause your activity rings. So if you love filling your rings every single day and then getting your monthly achievements, but you also happen to, occasionally get sick or something gets in the way and it breaks your streak, now you can simply pause your rings for one day or however long needed, and your award streak will still be fine. On top of this, you can also have different ring goals for each day of the week. So if you know that you're super busy during the weekday and you can only exercise during the weekend, you can adjust your goals for that. And if you tend to use the activity app on your iPhone a lot, you can now customize the summary page quite extensively. So you can move the individual summary boxes around and then also add more of them, like a lot more of them, to the summary page, which kind of looks like you're adding widgets to the home screen, But yeah, absolutely love this as well. And speaking of working out, the Workouts app gets some big improvements too. We now get distance and route maps for more workout types, including rowing. Then we can also create custom workouts for pool swims. So we can add things such as recovery breaks during our swim, and then we can also see our next workout coming up when we have a custom workout plan selected. But I think that one of the biggest improvements this year is something called training load. Now, it's not quite as powerful as Whoops, that shows you your actual muscle strain and how much weight you've lifted, while also giving you a strain score at the end, but it is still pretty good. The way it works is that it tracks the length of your workouts, and then for cardio-based workouts, it automatically assigns you an effort rating. For non-cardio workouts, you are asked to rate your effort after your workout. And then you'll get a weekly summary of what your training load is, and if it is trending up or down, so that you know if you need to push harder or take it easier. Of course, you can also reference this data with the data from the Vitals app to get a really good idea of how your body is feeling before and after workout. Now, there are some other big new features which are not workout related, but still very useful. One of which is called check-in. So it lets you automatically send a message to a friend or family member as soon as you get to a specific location. And you can also use this in the Workouts app. So for example, if you're out on a run late at night, you can just enable this and your preferred contact will get notified as soon as you get back home. Or if you've got kids, they can enable this on their Apple Watch so that you get a message as soon as they get home from school. Another big update is that now you get a Translate app on your Apple Watch as well. Before, it was just on the iPhone. What's great here is that if you go on holiday and, I don't know, you decide to go out for a run, but you do not take your iPhone with you, and you need to ask for directions, you can do all of that straight from your Apple Watch by speaking in your own language, and then the Apple Watch will automatically translate in one of the 18 pre-included languages. And what's really cool here is that Apple will automatically show you a translation smart stack whenever you travel to another country. And if you happen to go to a lot of concerts or events, your Apple Watch will now automatically show you the ticket as a live activity in the smart stack and even give you directions for parking. And now if you got an Apple Watch Series 9 or the Ultra 2, the double tap feature gets even better, as now you can use it to scroll through apps like the weather app and more, especially useful for when you've got your other hand full. Developers can also access this double tap API now and integrate scrolling into their own apps as well. And with watchOS 11, women can now add their pregnancy duration into the cycle tracking app, which will get factored into their overall health graphs. Plus, certain factors like walking steadiness in later stages of pregnancy will also be monitored, as the risk of falling can increase. Now, all of these improvements sound great, but there are two more things that you need to know before updating to watchOS 11 in September. The first is that you'll need an Apple Watch Series 6 or newer to be able to install it, or a second-gen Apple Watch SE, or any of the Apple Watch Ultra model. And the second is that the battery life might be taking a hit. Obviously, I'm on beta 1 now, and yeah, the battery life has not been great. Of course, this is expected. The first beta is known to have literally the worst battery life. But yeah, I mean, now I'm getting half a day, sometimes even less. I have to charge it sometimes even twice every single day, whereas before, I could easily get 1 day out of it, maybe even a day and a half. Now, this will for sure improve by the time watchOS 11 releases in September, but still something that you should keep in mind, as we may still see a hit to some extent. So what do you think? Will you be upgrading to watchOS 11, or will you be sticking to watchOS 10? Let me know down below. And also stay tuned for our upcoming video on the Apple Watch X leaks. There are just tons of updates to talk about. I'm Daniel, this has been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.